social media app announcing a new feature called Spotlight, as well as plans to pay creators, get this, $1 million a day for top performing posts. Joining us now from London to discuss is Bloomberg Opinion technology and media columnist Alex Webb. Alex, it's great to see you today. Thanks so much for being on Quick Take. $1 million a day seems like a lot of money. Why is Snap doing this?
So let's contextualize that a little bit. It's a share of $1 million a day. So, if there are 50 people creating really good content, you're looking at 20 grand each, which clearly is not to be sniffed at. But, it depends how thinly this gets spread. And of course, it's all just part of this mounting fight for content, to have the best content in your platform. Snap, having been really the hot property maybe 5-6 years ago, has perhaps lost a little bit of the kudos to not least TikTok, but also to an extent Instagram. And we've seen some of its best features copied by everyone from Facebook and Instagram to even Twitter and LinkedIn in terms of posts that disappear within 24 hours. So it's trying to up its game to get some of the top creators back into its ecosystem. And
you don't actually have to be a top creator to qualify for this share of $1 million, right? You could be a normal everyday person who just has a post go well.
Yes, but that also counts for any video you post on YouTube. So it's I think perhaps the more remarkable thing about Snap is that it wasn't offering these sort of incentives to people to create good content previously. Basically, if you're an influencer, the easiest way to make money on Snap, as it previously was to sell a sponsored post to a big brand or even a small brand. But if you're a YouTube creator, you get a slice of that juicy advertising revenue. And so Snap is perhaps bringing it slightly more in line with that, although it should be said it's not offering advertising revenue to everyone, only to the top performing posts. So it's positioned this quite well and wrapped it up quite tidily, but ultimately it's probably still not as good a deal as people are able to get if they go onto YouTube or even parts of Instagram.
Yeah, look, really, really important context there. It does sound like a lot of money, but you're right that YouTube has been doing this for a long time. Alex, I wonder too about the algorithm here. We hear so much when it comes to TikTok that TikTok's special sauce is the algorithm. How does Snap's algorithm play into the way that this is going to work?
That will be the really interesting point. We don't quite know, of course, what's going on under the hood, and frankly, whether it's going to be, spreading $1 million between 100,000 people or 20. Is there going to be a lot of things appearing in your feed or just a small number? So, there's a very difficult path to tread here, whether people are fighting for pennies or if they're fighting for hundreds or thousands of dollars. Some of the problem with these algorithmic solutions is that they inadvertently promote content that actually isn't terribly desirable. We've learned a huge amount in the past few years about people being driven into sort of YouTube holes where you start off with a political viewpoint that might be nudging in one direction, and by the time you followed the recommendation engine 20 videos deep, all of a sudden you're looking at flat earth videos, for argument's sake. So there is always a risk to that algorithmic approach, and we'll have to see just what Snap has come up with when this starts rolling out.
It says that in our article by Sarah Fryer, our colleague, that the Snap users don't actually even have to have public profiles here for this to work. How does that work? If you have a private profile, how can you still qualify for this type of kind of going viral?
So presumably it means that you'll be able to see the video without necessarily knowing who was behind it. And that clearly it might be preferable if you're trying not to become a celebrity in your own right and be exposed to some of the vicissitudes that come with that. But there might also be risks to that, namely that if you don't know who's behind a piece of content, then it could be someone with malign intentions.
Yeah.
We've seen plenty of them in the election cycles in recent years. So there are positives of that, but also perhaps some risks as well.
Bloomberg Opinion's Alex Webb. Thanks so much for your time, Alex. Great to see you this morning.
The biggest stories the moment they happen from around the globe. Subscribe to Bloomberg Quick Take now for insight in an instant.